Hi guys, good morning all. Today we are going to discuss about one of the most important question which comes in all the product-based company as well as service-based company, and it comes in the semester exam also. For example, I will give a file size. Okay, let's say 400 MB or 800 MB or whatever. Based upon the file size, you just have to tell me how many blocks will be created, how much memory it will occupy in the HDFS, in which configuration of file we have mentioned this block size, in which configuration file we have mentioned the replication factor. We'll talk about everything, replication factor, and I can say the block size and all, everything. Okay. So let's start. For example, I have a file, size having 400 MB. Whenever I want to store into HDFS location, okay, what will happen? By default, the replication factor is 3, and by default, the block size is 128 MB. Okay, whenever I'm splitting that file, as my block size is 128 MB, so it will be created 4 different blocks. Why? Because 400 divided by 128, it will comes around 3 point something. Means total 3 blocks which will contain 128 MB data, and another block which contains only 16 MB data. So that 128 plus 128 plus 128 plus 16 is equal to 400. Okay, clear guys? Any doubts so far? Data in HDFS is always stored in terms of block. So the single block of data is divided into multiple blocks of size 128 MB, which is the default, and you can also change it manually. In Hadoop Distributed File System HDFS, a file block refers to a chunk of data that constitutes a file and is stored across multiple data nodes in a distributed manner. The size of a block in HDFS is configurable, typically 64 MB or 128 MB by default. But generally, we have seen the default block size is 128 MB. And is said when the file is initially stored in the file system. Here, how file blocks are calculated and managed in HDFS. Calculation of file block. How generally it's calculated. Those configuration details, guys, we have given in one of the Hadoop configuration file that is called HDFS-site.xml file. And we are given a default block size in HDFS is typically 128 MB. This means that when a file is stored in the HDFS, it is divided into block of 128 MB. Unless it's the last block, which can be small. Now, you can say, what is the difference between file size and block size? When a file is stored in HDFS, the file size determines how many blocks are created for that file. For example, if a file is smaller than the block size, for example, 100 MB, it will occupy just one block because my block size is 120 MB. For example, if a file is larger than the block size, let's say 300 MB, it will be divided into multiple blocks. Okay. For example, let's say consider there is an example.txt file, which happens size 300 MB. Now, block size in HDFS is set to be, let's say by default it's 128 MB. Then total how many number of blocks which will be created? Number of blocks is equal to file size divided by block size. Now my file size is 300 MB. Block size is 128 MB. 300 divided by 128 is equal to 2.34. Around 3 block will be created. Are you getting my point? Why? Because we have the number of block is equal to file size divided by block size. So here my file size is 300 MB. My block size, the block size is 128 MB. 300 divided by 128 is coming around 2.34. Otherwise, around 3 block will be created. Out of 3 block, in 2 block, 128 MB data will be there. In the last block, it will be less than 128 because 128 plus 128, whatever things will come, 300 minus that one will store in the third block itself. Let's talk about storage and replication factor. I'm talking about how much memory it will occupy. How much memory it will occupy in HDFS. That we can discuss by taking the help of a replication factor, guys. Okay. Now see, what is replication factor? Each block of the file is replicated across multiple data nodes. The default replication factor is 3. This ensures fault tolerance and data availability even if some node fail. Okay, due to replication factor, even though some data node got failed during the execution, there is a backup copy of the data will be present in the different data node. So there is no chance of lose the data. And where this configuration will present, this will present in HDFS-site.xml file. Okay, this is the Hadoop configuration file where we have given the information related to replication factor, the information related to block size and all. Block size also we have mentioned the same HDFS-site.xml. Okay, in the class I have already discussed around 3 to 4 Hadoop configuration files are present. HDFS-site.xml file, core-site.xml file, then map-frame, site.xml file and all. Okay, then subscript file, environment file and all. Okay, let's take the example. The same example here, the file size is 300 MB, block size is 120 MB, 128 MB by default. The number of block will be 3 blocks. Why? Because 300 divided by 128 is equal to around 2.34, which is around 3 block. Now, each block, except the last block, which may be smaller, will be approximately 120 MB in size. When example not storing HDFS, the system will distribute this block across available data node. For example, block 1, storage, data node 1, data node 2, data node 3, as a replication factor is equal to 3. Similarly, block 2 will be stored on data node 2, data node 3, and data node 4. Then block 3 may be stored in data node 3, then data node 4, and data node 5. This distribution ensures both load balancing and fault tolerance within the Hadoop cluster. Now, think about this. Understanding how HDFS manages file block in crucial for efficient data storage and retrieval in large-scale data processing application. For example, think about that. This is my HDFS cluster. Now, this is my data node 1, data node 2, data node 3, data node 4, and data node 5. And we have discussed in block 1 is getting stored in data node 1, 2, and 3. Now we can see my block 1 getting stored in data node 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, my block 2 is getting stored in data node 2, 3, and 4. Now we can see block 2, 3, 4, and 1. Right? Block 2 is stored in 2, 3, and 4, whatever it may be. Because that is not in our control. That's taken care of by Hadoop architecture. Now, what I have to explain, in case, for example, data node 1 goes down, got corrupted. There is no chance of data loss. Why? Because the same replica of the block 1 is already available in data node 2 and data node 3. For example, even the 2 data node got, corrupted, like data node 1 and 2, still I have a backup in data node 3. In any point of time, as the replication factor is 3, even though at most 2 data node also goes down, still there is a backup of that copy, backup of the data in another data node. So at that, I can retrieve it back. There is no chance of data loss at any point of time. Similarly, you can see block 3. Block 3 is present in data node 2, present in data node 4, then present in data node 5. For example, data node 4 and 5 goes down, then I have the backup in data node 2. Or maybe data node 2 and 4 goes down, then I have the backup in data node 5. Okay, that is the beauty of replication factor. Now you can see, to explain this diagram, what it is, so file size is example.txt, same example. File size 300 MB, HDFS block size, default block size 128 MB, replication factor is 3 by default. Now, file block calculation, total number of block will be 3. We have seen already, right? 300 divided by 128, so around 3 block will be created. Block 1 will be 128 MB, block 2 will be 128 MB, block 3 will be less than 128 MB. Why? Because 128 plus 128, whatever will come. If I will subtract from 300, that is coming around 44. Okay. You must imagine you have a Hadoop cluster with 5 data. The example of TST is split into 3 blocks, and each block is replicated across 3 data nodes. Data node represent an rectangular box. Block represent a smaller block within the data node. Replication factor. Each block is stored in 3 different data nodes to ensure no redundancy, so that there is no chance of data loss. Again, you can see the same. Block 1 is 128 MB, stored in data node 1, 2, and 3. Block 2 is 128 MB, 3 replication factor. That's why it is stored in 3 different data nodes like data node 4 and 5. Okay, the block 3 is 44 MB, stored in data node 2, 4, and 5. Okay. Same things. Also, I have for light in the video space. If the file size is 300 MB, then in HDFS, how much memory it will occupy? Just think. So 300 MB file size. Obviously, my block size, default block size is 128. The replication factor is 3. The replication factor is 3. And as you know, only 3 blocks will be created. Block 1 contains 128 MB. Block 2 contains 128 MB. And block 3 contains 44 MB. Then total number of block would be 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. Full block, that is 1 and 2. And 1 is partial block, that is block. Because out of 128, only 44 MB data are present. Now calculate the total storage to the replication. As we know, each block having replication factor 3, means 3 copy of that particular block will be created. 128 MB into 3. So it is coming around 384 MB. Again, for 128 MB into 3, that is 384 MB. For block 3, it is 44 MB into 3, replication factor, that is 132 MB. If you add all 384 plus 384 plus 132 is coming around 900 MB. The conclusion, for a 300 MB file storage in HDFS, whatever the question was, if my file size is 300 MB, then in HDFS, how much memory will it occupy? Generally, people will tell, sir, if my file size is 300 MB, then it will occupy 300 MB only in HDFS. But that is wrong. It is telling as an answer, it will occupy 3 times 900 MB. Conclusion it is giving, for a 300 MB file storage, in HDFS with a block size of 128 MB and a replication factor of 3, the file will occupy 900 MB of this space in the HDFS cluster. Just for explanation point of view, I just dig into more, created different block and block-wise calculation I have shown you. But if you want to go for a shortcut, trickiest method, whatever the file size will be, just multiply with it 3. 300 into 3, that is 900 memory, 900 MB memory is occupied in HDFS. As the replication factor is 3. For example, my replication factor is 5. Then 300 into 5, 1500 MB memory it will occupy in the HDFS cluster. So these are the typical questions they will ask. Okay, they will give, or maybe the semester exam will get. Typically, the product-based company and service-based company, they ask also. They will give a file size having, let's say, 400 MB, 500 MB, or 800 MB. They'll ask, how many blocks will be created if my default block size is 128 MB? Anyway, how much memory it will occupy in HDFS? Anyway, in which configuration file we have mentioned this block size? In which configuration file we have mentioned this replication factor? Those are the typical interview questions they'll ask in any product-based company or maybe service-based company, as well as in the semester exam also, such type of question you will face. Okay, with this, we have completed one beautiful explanation related to big data Hadoop architecture. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.